An old toy, harmless, a gift with sentimental value. But those who entered that house, who looked into her eyes, they know Annabelle was never just a doll. She was the beginning, the warning. The door that should never have been opened. And once she got in, she never left. This is the true story of one of the most cursed objects in the world. And this is only the first part. It all began in 1970. United States, East Coast. A young nursing student named Donna received a gift from her mother. It was her birthday. The kind of thing that seems harmless until you look twice. It was a Raggedy Ann doll, one of those cloth dolls with red yarn hair and a stitched smile. Big round eyes, a blue dress, and a silence that disturbs. Donna didn't mind. She left the doll sitting on her bed as decoration. But the days started to become strange. Small things. Simple at first. The doll would change positions. Nothing dramatic. An arm that was down now raised, the head slightly tilted. The body shifted a few inches. Things a rational person could easily explain. But as the weeks passed, it became impossible to ignore. Donna would come home and find the doll in different rooms. She'd leave it in the bedroom and find it sitting on the living room couch, sometimes right by the front door, as if it was waiting for someone or something. She began to doubt herself, thought maybe her roommate Angie was playing pranks, but Angie swore she hadn't touched it. No one had, and yet it kept moving. Then came the notes. Small pieces of paper found around the apartment, written in childlike handwriting, almost innocent scribbles, but with disturbing messages. Help us. Save us. We are suffering. The ink looked like charcoal or something rubbed by hand. But there was something even stranger. The paper wasn't from their notebooks. It didn't belong in the apartment. It came from somewhere else. But from where? And why? They tried to ignore it. Thought it could be a cruel prank by college students. Some sick joke. But the air in the apartment began to change, a constant chill. Even with the heaters on, noises at night. Scratching from the walls, footsteps in the hallway, and the feeling that someone or something was watching. Always. That's when they decided to seek help. A medium was called in, and the explanation was even more disturbing. According to the medium, the spirit of a girl named Annabelle Higgins had attached itself to the doll. Annabelle had died nearby, under mysterious circumstances. Her spirit was lost, looking for love, a home, protection. Touched by the story, Donna and Angie allowed Annabelle to stay. They welcomed that spirit into the doll. That was the first mistake. And maybe the last. Because Annabelle was not a child. And that was not a lost soul. It was something much older, darker. And now it was inside their home. The manifestations grew stronger. A friend of the girls, named Lou, began having recurring nightmares, vivid dreams of the doll strangling him while he slept. One night, he woke in a cold sweat. The room was completely silent. But he felt something, eyes on him. When he looked at the foot of the bed, there was Annabelle. Motionless, sitting, and smiling wider than before. He screamed, threw the doll to the floor. But she didn't fall like a rag doll. She fell like something with weight. something that resisted. The next day, Lou decided to leave. But before he could, something attacked him. He was with Angie, preparing to go out. He heard noises coming from Donna's room, though she wasn't home. He went to check. The door was slightly open. Inside, Annabelle lay on the floor. At the exact moment he approached, an invisible force pushed him backward. A deep slash appeared on his chest, like claws had torn into his skin. 3 horizontal marks and 4 vertical. Blood dripping. No one around. Nothing physical. Nothing visible, but the pain was real, and so was the message. You are not welcome here. After that, they sought real help. That's when Ed and Lorraine Warren entered the story. The most famous paranormal investigators of the 20th century. They listened to the story, studied the events, and reached a terrifying conclusion. This was not the spirit of a child. It was a demonic presence. According to the Warrens, demonic spirits do not possess objects. They attach, manipulate, pretend. They form emotional bonds with the living to be accepted. And once accepted, they gain power. They can move. Attack, control. Annabelle was just bait, a vessel. And now she wasn't just a doll anymore. She was a portal, a bridge between worlds. The Warrens performed an exorcism in the house, sprinkled holy water, said prayers, but they didn't destroy the doll. They knew that wouldn't work. So they took Annabelle with them, sealed in a black bag, locked in their car. But the nightmare was far from over. During the drive, the car's brakes failed. The engine kept stalling, the steering locked up. They nearly crashed multiple times. Ed had to stop the car, open the trunk, and sprinkle holy water directly on the doll. Only then did the car return to normal. That's when they decided to keep her under surveillance, forever. They placed Annabelle inside a glass case, blessed with holy inscriptions, in the Warren Occult Museum. And a sign, simple, direct. Warning, do not touch. But the warning wasn't enough, because Annabelle doesn't need to be touched. She only needs to be noticed. And those who look, those who believe, have already taken the first step. Decades later, reports continue. Visitors who felt sick, dizziness, fainting, nightmares, accidents. A young biker laughed at the doll and crashed on the way home. Died on impact. Others said they heard the doll knocking on the glass. But what's most terrifying isn't what's been said. It's what may still come, because what the Warrens told the world may not be the whole truth. And what's inside that doll may not be trapped. Or worse, maybe it never was. She was locked away, sealed behind blessed glass, protected by prayers and sacred symbols. But that doesn't mean she was contained, because evil doesn't need an open door. It slips through cracks, through the eyes that watch, through the words that doubt. In the first part of this story, we learned how Annabelle went from a simple doll to one of the most cursed objects on Earth. But what happened after she was taken to the Warren Occult Museum is even more disturbing. Because Annabelle never stayed silent. She waited and watched. The doll was placed in a custom glass case, Latin inscriptions carved into the frame, protective symbols in every corner, and a red plaque in bold letters, warning, do not touch. But the protections were not foolproof. Ed Warren used to say, the doll isn't the problem is what controls it. Lorraine, a sensitive medium, avoided entering the room alone. She said the energy felt thick, sticky, like something was clinging to her skin. Even so, the museum was open to the public. Curious visitors came from all over the world to see Annabelle up close, and many left regretting it. One of the most infamous cases happened in the 1980s. A young couple visited the museum. The boy, a skeptic, mocked the doll. He laughed in front of her, knocked on the glass, said loudly, "If this is real, then prove it. Attack me, do something." Ed immediately asked him to leave, warned him this wasn't a joke. But the boy didn't take it seriously. Hours later, he and his girlfriend were on a motorcycle, heading home. In the middle of the road, he lost control, crashed head-on into a tree, died instantly. The girlfriend, who survived, said he was joking about the doll seconds before the accident. Coincidence? Maybe. But it was the first of many similar reports. Other visitors described strange sensations: heart palpitations, nausea, dizziness, the feeling of being watched, or of someone whispering, even in complete silence. One woman said that when she looked into the doll's eyes, she saw another face reflected, a man with black eyes and a crooked smile. She fainted on the spot. And when she woke, there were red marks on her neck, like invisible fingers. But what stands out most are the stories from people who were never the same after seeing her. Recurring nightmares, shadows at the edge of their vision, objects moving in their homes, doors opening by themselves, and that same feeling that something is there, something that doesn't want to leave. But perhaps the most disturbing case happened inside the Warrens' own home. Their daughter Judy was just a teenager at the time. Even with parents who specialized in the occult, she grew up surrounded by fear and mystery. And one night, while alone at home, she heard knocking from the basement, where the museum was kept. She knew everything was locked, but the knocking continued. Dry, rhythmic, as if someone or something was trying to get out. She went downstairs, each step colder than the last. When she reached the museum door, she saw the lights flickering inside, and the doll was no longer in the same place. The glass was cracked, as if something had pushed from the inside. But nothing seemed broken enough to explain it. Still, she felt the presence, like a weight on her chest, as if the air itself refused to be breathed. She ran back upstairs, locked the door, and never entered alone again. After that, the Warrens reinforced the protections. A priest began visiting the museum regularly. He prayed, sprinkled holy water, but even he had a strange encounter. During a visit while praying near the doll's case, he felt pressure on his chest, as if invisible hands were pushing him into the wall. He dropped to his knees, gasping for air. Had to be carried out. And afterward, spent months hospitalized with unexplained respiratory issues. Then came the doubts. Skeptics claimed it was all theater, that the Warrens exaggerated to gain fame, that Annabelle was just a cloth doll and nothing more. But the truth is that the reports never stopped, even after Ed and Lorraine's deaths. The museum is now closed to the public, but Annabelle is still there, or so they say, because in 2020 a rumor spread across the internet, news that the doll had disappeared. Escaped the museum. Social media exploded. Millions shared images, videos, theories. The name Annabelle trended worldwide. Hours later, Lorraine's son-in-law posted a video denying it, showing the doll intact in the same case. But the internet was already infected, and the fear had already spread. The strangest part? That same week, reports began surfacing from different countries, people claiming to have seen something like Annabelle. on buses, in parks, even in hospitals. Most were disproved. Pranks, edited photos, but some were different, unexplainable. And what's striking is that all these people reported the same thing. Physical sensations, dizziness, nausea, nightmares. As if something had truly passed through them, as if the doll wasn't just in a museum, but somewhere else, watching. Today, more than 50 years after her first appearance, Annabelle remains one of the most talked about cases in modern occult history. She inspired movies, shows, books, but what few people know is that much of what Hollywood showed is far from the truth. The real Annabelle doesn't have a porcelain face. She doesn't close her eyes, doesn't have a carved demonic grin. She is simple, childlike, yarn hair, stitched nose. And maybe that's the most terrifying part, because she doesn't scream, doesn't run, doesn't bleed. She just waits, sits still, watches. And when you least expect it, she moves. Or she moves you. Many ask, why not destroy her? Why didn't the Warrens burn the doll? The answer is simple and unsettling, because what's inside her doesn't die in fire. Destroying the vessel only releases what's trapped. And if you think she's contained, maybe you're looking in the wrong place, because evil doesn't need a doll, it only needs a crack. Annabelle is just a name. But what carries that name is something much older, much smarter, and infinitely patient. She doesn't just want to scare. She wants to enter. And maybe she already has.